Welcome back to the You Potential Podcast. Today, we're doing another edition of Deep Cuts. On the show, we are going to be talking about how the happiest people spend their money. If you've been enjoying the You Potential Podcast, please subscribe here on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. And now, let's dive into how the happiest people in the world spend their money. When you look back at the people who are the happiest with their lives, the surprising thing isn't how much they spend. Some spend a lot, some spend a little. Money isn't always the whole story here. What sets them apart is how they spend their money. Think about it. You learned how to make money. You learned how to save money. You learned how to invest it and protect it. But how to actually spend it in a way that gives you a good life and not just a pile of stuff or things, nobody has ever taught you that, at least not myself. And what it's doing is costing us a lot of time and money. There's a lot of research on how the happiest people spend their money, and that's what this video is about. And it comes down to 5 simple shifts. So here we have the same money spent differently and provides a lot more happiness. Let me walk you through them. All right, by the end of this video, you'll know all 5 of these shifts. You'll know which ones you're already getting right and which ones you're getting wrong. And for most people, they're at least getting 2 of these wrong. So I'm going to give you one simple question before any purchase that's going to help you get it right. And this is not just my opinion. This is rooted in lots of research. And the interesting thing here is the cost of getting this wrong isn't just about the money. Of course, the money matters, but we can make money, we can buy things, and yet we can still not feel any happier. Still just as stressed, still wondering why it doesn't add up when I'm buying these things and making more money. So what it comes down to is not a math problem, it's not a you problem, it's a spending problem. And that is something that we can fix. Before we get into it, a quick note on me. I'm a certified financial planner. I've also studied positive psychology, the science of happiness and money. I host the You Potential Podcast that you're listening to. So again, please subscribe if you have not already. Today's episode, it sits right in the middle of where money meets happiness. And there's real research behind every one of these things that I'm going to be talking about. I'll link to all the research in the comments. And here's an interesting thing that is beneath all of the topics that I'm going to be talking about today. When you buy something, you're not really buying the object per se. Instead, you're buying a feeling that you're hoping the object will give you. Remember that, and we'll come back to it. Why is it so easy to get this wrong, how we spend our money? It starts with the belief that many of us have is more money is the answer. More money will make us happier. And for years, the famous finding was that happiness flattens out once you earn about $75,000, which was in 2009, which of course is more in today's dollars. More money, so it said that back then, past that point, no more happiness. That number got repeated everywhere. Media loved that headline. However, newer research has updated that. With over 1 million real-time check-ins in the research, the researchers found that happiness actually keeps rising with income for a lot of people. There's no hard ceiling like they once thought. But here's the interesting part. The people who get happier as their income tends to increase are the ones who are happier in general and who know where to spend their time and money. They figured out where to spend their time and money. And that perhaps is part of what's making them happier. So here's the part that matters in all of that. Yes, how much you earn makes a difference. It really does. But it's small next to how you spend it. 2 people with the same income can live completely different lives based on how they spend their money. So the real question isn't always, how do I make more money? Yes, that's important, but many people, they're already good at making money. It's, how am I spending my money in a way that actually makes my life better? That's an important question because most of us have never learned that. We've learned years of lessons on how to earn money and save money, but no one has taught us how to spend money in ways that provide enduring or lasting levels of happiness and well-being. And when we get it wrong, when we spend our money wrong, it's not because of lack of willpower. It's just how our brains work. Psychologists call this adaptations. We get used to things that stay the same. A new thing that we buy starts to feel the same. a couple weeks after we own it, and it just feels normal again. And we perhaps then chase the next object that's going to make us feel good, but we're just going to adapt to it again. So that possession or that thing you buy, it sits there, the same thing every day, and you stop noticing or paying attention to it soon after because our brain's on to the next thing. That's why we keep buying things that stop making us happy, and we skipped things that actually would. These 5 shifts are what the happiest people are doing instead. Stay tuned. So here we go. 5 shifts using the same money. Let's go. Shift number 1, buy experiences, not things. This is a big one. When researchers compared buying stuff to buying experiences, such as a trip, a dinner out, an education course, a concert, the experiences win for almost everyone. That's work from researchers like Thomas Ilvich and Amit Kumar, who studied this for 2 decades. There's 3 key reasons why. First, an experience becomes part of who you are. Nobody is their watch, but people are the trip that they took, the concert that they still talk about, or the summer that they coached their kids' sports team. Second, experiences, they're just harder to compare. We're wired as humans for social comparison. It's baked into us. We compare constantly. And these days with social media, it makes it even easier to look at everyone else's stuff. There's always a nicer car, a bigger house, and that comparison quietly eats at how good our own things feel. But a weekend getaway, a trip with your family, you're not always comparing as much with those things as objects because they're yours, they're your memories. The third thing about buying experiences over an object is a thing gets less exciting the longer you own it. It's true. Think about something you bought last year. While an experience does the opposite, it gets better when you look back at it. You recall the memories, the pictures, you retell the story, and it grows. The couch you bought, it just loses value over time where the memory gains. I can already hear some of you thinking, but I love my boat, my bike, my surfboard. These are things. And you're right. And that's the difference. It's not always about not buying an object or thing. Instead, it's about whether that object or things gets you out there experiencing parts of life. A boat that sits at the dock, it's just a thing. But a boat you take out every weekend with people you love is something else entirely. It's an experience. Let me tell you what I mean by this. I grew up with my parents having a boat, and I always knew that one day I wanted a boat for my family and my kids. So I saved, and we finally bought one. And looking back now, the boat, it's not just a boat. It's a memory machine. It's where my family and friends gather. It's freedom for the summer as we cruise on the lake. It's where my kids and their friends end up doing hundreds of first things. Tubing, jumping off the boat, the laughing, the music, the songs of the summer that come from that boat, and of course, the pictures that we'll have forever. That boat, it's made friendships and has given us conversations and memories that will last a lifetime. So you see, it's the same object a lot of people own but barely use, but because we actually use it and turn it into an experience, perhaps it's one of the best things that we've ever bought. The research that I mentioned earlier by Dr. Amit Kumar, he found that experiences actually pay you back in 3 different times. Number 1, you get the happiness by looking forward to it, the anticipation. You're planning for the experience. And then, number 2, you get to experience the experience. So the happiness while you're in it, that flow state. And then happiness every time you remember it afterward, the savoring, the recall. A thing or an object, it just really pays you once when you buy it. A memory of an experience pays you back in 3 different times. Now, the financial planner side of me is coming out. Calling something an experience doesn't mean you can just afford it. An important part of all of this is making sure that you can afford it, because a trip put on a credit card you can't pay off doesn't create enduring and lasting happiness. In the moment, it might create happiness, but it buys stress. So this isn't just go spend all your money on experience. It's plan properly, make sure you can afford it, but think about spending on experiences more than you are already. Shift 2, make it a treat. Going back to this idea of adaptation. When you have something all the time, you stop noticing it. The daily luxury becomes just normal when you do it all the time. The second home you were so excited about might just become another thing to manage. The nice dinner out 4 nights a week, isn't an event anymore. It's just a dinner that you might even find yourself complaining about. You're spending the same money, you've just stopped getting any real benefit from it because you're getting used to it. And what's kind of worse is you're paying full price for it, but not getting the same amount of feelings when you make it a treat. The fix for this, it's almost funny. Do it less, and make sure you do it less on purpose. So make the great coffee or the latte a Friday morning thing, not an every morning thing. Having something a little less often is exactly what helps you keep enjoying it. So make it a treat. Shift 3, buy back your time. When people pay to get rid of tasks they dread, the cleaning, the yard work, or even getting groceries delivered instead of losing a Saturday morning at the grocery store, and use that time for something that matters, they're happier. Researcher Ashley Wallins found that across thousands of people in 4 countries that this holds true. But here's what I learned the hard way. When I first read this research, I thought, yes, outsource cleaning my house. And my wife and I budgeted for a housekeeper for once a week. And then what I felt was great because I didn't have to clean. But pretty soon I realized that I just found myself being as busy as I was before. I kind of had the same amount of stress. I felt like I was still rushing. So the problem wasn't the cleaner per se. It was that I wasn't using that extra freed up time for something that makes me happier. It just leaked back into me being busy. So I had to be deliberate about it. Now, I try to take a couple mornings a week just to sit and have a coffee with someone I care about, or make sure after work and school I'm playing with my kids. That's the whole point of buying your time back, and it only works if you protect it and use that time to do something that's going to make you feel happier. Here's an interesting part. The people who can afford to buy back their time the most are often the ones who won't. They'll spend their hard-earned money on a watch, but not a housekeeper, because for some reason, the watch feels like they earned it. And if they do buy back their time, they're often looking for more ways to stay busy or even earn more money. And again, they get that same feeling that I have. Same amount of stress, same amount of busyness, even though they're opening up more time. So the key here is if I'm going to buy back my time, I need to use that time on things that are actually going to make me feel better and happier. Shift 4, pay now, enjoy later. We've trained ourselves to want everything instantly. Order it now and have it delivered on your doorstep in 32 seconds. And it turns out we're skipping the best part, perhaps, on some things. Because a lot of happiness is in the waiting game, even though we don't like that. When you book a trip months ahead, you get to enjoy the whole process of getting there. The planning, the looking forward to it, the imagining what you're going to do once you're there. Often, we're just so busy that we book a trip, we don't think about it, and we just show up. But research shows we get more out of looking forward to an experience than any object or thing, which makes sense. So research is telling us to flip it. Book it early, pay for it now, and enjoy it later. I know that's not what we're used to right now. You're not just buying a trip or an activity or experience. You're buying the weeks or months of looking forward to it, anticipating, imagining yourself there. That's free happiness you're throwing away if you don't book things in advance and think about it. Shift number 5, spend on others. This is the last one. But when people spend even a little money on people instead of themselves, they tend to report being happier than spending on themselves. Some studies show it strongly, others show it faintly. But the direction or the idea holds constant here, and it costs you nothing more to test it on yourself. So, pick up the dinner, not to show off, that's important, this isn't a status thing, but because you care. Help pay for your kids' interesting side project or summer job, and do it where you'll see the impact, because watching the impact of helping someone is part of this process of spending on others so that we feel better and they feel better. When you spend on other people you care about, you get back something no object will ever give you. And in fact, this even works when you spend on people you don't even know. So that pay it forward at the coffee shop, try it. It will give you a happiness boost, and it doesn't cost that much. All right, now we have all these 5 shifts. Let's take a step back and look at them all 5 together, because there's one interesting thing underneath all of them. We had experiences, treat, time, anticipation, spending on others. Notice what's missing here? No objects, things, or stuff. The things we spend most of our money on barely show up in this list. And here's an interesting way to think about this. A researcher named Dan Buettner spent years studying the places where people live the longest. He calls them the blue zones, and they have the highest levels of happiness. Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, and a handful of others. Here we have widely different countries, widely different income levels, and the thing that they all share isn't the same amount of money, isn't big houses or stuff. It's that they're surrounded every single day by family and friends, people they care about. The happiest, longest living people on earth seem to have already figured out many things on this list. And what you see it's never really always about is money. It's about the people, connection. This is supported by many researchers on enduring levels of well-being and happiness. Connection, social fabric that you create in your life is one of the keys to living a happy life. So let's go back to what I asked you to remember. You're never really buying the object. You're buying that feeling underneath, to feel secure, to feel free, to feel like you've made it, to feel close to someone. Next time you buy something, stop and ask, what's the feeling I'm actually reaching for here? Because usually the objects show up and the feeling doesn't. So you buy the next thing because you hope it provides you with that. And that's the trap. Trying to buy a feeling with an object that can't be created is difficult. And that's why we keep buying and buying and buying. Every one of these 5 shifts is really the same instructions. Buy the feeling directly. And it's usually cheaper than the object that you were going to buy instead. One more thing that's worth sitting with or thinking about. Think back, before you made the money you were making now, were you really that much happier you were then than today? For most people, honestly, the answer is no, which tells you it's never always about the money. It's about what you did with it and what you're doing with your time. As we come to a conclusion, 4 things we can do this week that'll help us spend our money on things that are going to make us happier. Before we make a big purchase, ask yourself, will this still matter to me in a month? Am I creating an experience? Will this bring me joy? Wait a few seconds, see what you come up with. Number 2, book one thing now, an experience that you'll do later. A trip, a dinner, tickets to a show, and really think about it and share the anticipation with the person you're doing it with. Buy the anticipation on purpose. Number 3, think about a task you dread the most. Try to outsource it, pay for it to go away, and then fill that time with something that really matters to you. Make sure it doesn't leak into the busyness of life. And number 4, take something you do every day that doesn't feel special anymore and make it rare again. Pull back that once a week coffee to just that Friday treat and really savor it when you have it. And you might think, well, this sounds neat, but I don't really want to do it. And a lot of times that's just the resistance talking. Seriously, you got to try these things. They're rooted in research that often are working for many people across the world. And I know experiences sometimes feel like they'll disappear, but they're the opposite. The objects, the things we buy, they fade. The experience stays. So here's the question I'll leave you with this week. Look at the last major purchase you bought. Not groceries, but the real ones, the one that you choose. How many were objects and how many were experiences? Your money and your time is going to be spent either way. The only question is whether you're going to use your money and time to create a good life. Because you're probably good with money. You're probably okay with money. You just weren't taught how to spend it. Now you have been. I would love to hear in the comments, what's one thing that you've bought recently that provided you with the most exponential levels of happiness after? Or what's something that you often buy that provides you with the most happiness? Before you head out, please subscribe to the You Potential podcast. I'd appreciate it. Share this episode with a family or colleague. Until next week, take care.